Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to talk about cell phones. It's an interesting topic. It's a topic that changes over time as technology changes. It changes based on what country, what part of the world you live in. Here, I'm going to give you a little bit of the technical data, what phones work where, why you need certain types of phones. I'll give you more than that. I'm going to give you some charts that I found online and give you some resources where you can go and find out additional information on your own. In fact, as most of you know, there's a lot of old information out there. There's articles that aren't dated. I was reading a couple articles, and for instance, in the Philippines, I don't believe that we have CDMA coverage here, and yet I was reading a couple articles saying that the future of CDMA here is really good. This company is pursuing it, and it's a big competition between that and GSM. Well, it turns out the articles were, I finally found enough references to it that apparently the articles were like five years old. There was a company, Xtel, I believe, that was pursuing the CDMA technology, was selling plans and phones, and but as I searched deeper, in fact, their domain name is up for sale, so tells me that they probably weren't very successful at it. All right, let's get on with the program here. Number one step, find out if you have a locked phone. And if you have a locked phone, if your carrier has locked it so you can only use it on their system, you need to get it unlocked or it will not work here in the Philippines. Now, there's a couple ways to do that. Many countries have laws that if you have paid for your phone, for instance, you paid the full price on contract or outright, that the carriers are required to unlock the phone. You need to contact them and talk to them about that. If you're on contract, you haven't paid for your phone in full, tell them that you are traveling overseas and ask them nicely if they will unlock your phone so that you can use the phone overseas. Some will. They might charge you a little bit for that service, but they'll give you a code and walk you through the process to unlock your phone. Another option is there are a number of sites, and I'm not personally familiar with them. There are a number of sites where you can go to online, and they will send you a code. You send them the information about your phone, they'll send you a code and how to punch the information into your phone to unlock your phone. I have no experience with that, so I don't know how well it works. But everything I've read about that is that it should work. I take no responsibility. DrSim.com, doctor and then SIM.com is one of those companies. I don't know anything else about them. They were listed online. A third option, one that I took advantage of, I had a Samsung phone in the USA, Note 3, I believe, and I had paid outright for it. I'd paid like $600 for it outright so that I got a unlocked phone. Well, a couple months before I moved here, I dropped it, broke it. I had insurance on it that covered breakage. I sent it to the insurance company, Assurian, I think, and they sent me a new phone, and I didn't realize until I got over here that it was locked phone tied into T-Mobile. I went to Samsung offices, two different Samsung offices here in the malls in Cebu City, the Philippines, and they said they did not have the software to unlock the phone. I took it to a couple repair shops. The first one didn't have the proper software. The second one I went to, messed with it for a while in Ayala Mall. There's a electronics section in Ayala Mall and many malls where they have the phones and computers, and there was a repair shop there, and I took it in there and they messed with it. They said, no, we don't have the proper software. But as we were talking, they were trying some software, and all of a sudden it unlocked the phone. So we tried it, put a globe SIM into it, and it worked fine for me after that. Now I had also brought with me I had spent $200 on a dual SIM Asus Zenfone 2 that I brought along with me also. So I had that in addition to the Samsung. So that's something else that I would recommend if you're going to be in any foreign country long term. Get a dual SIM so you can use it on 2 different carriers. So a step that you should take is to find out some information about your present phone, and there are a couple sites that you can go to do that. You can put your model number in, and you'll get a long list of different technical specifications about your phone, everything from the memory that it supposedly has on down to what bands it works on. You will need a GSM phone here in the Philippines. CDMA, which is primarily used by Verizon in the USA, will not work over here. They do have a couple phones that also have the GSM system in it, I guess, and they would work, but you'd have to make sure that you had the proper phone. You can go to gsmarena.com is one of them. The other one is phonearena.com. Punch in your information about your phone and model number, and they will give you the list, tell you what bands it operates on, the GSM, the LTE, all that type of thing. And then you will know whether you can what countries you can use it in as you look at different charts of what's available in different countries. Now, a few years ago there was a CDMA company and towers here in the Philippines, but I don't believe I've not found any current information about that. I don't think it's available at all. Vietnam, I believe, has one carrier that has CDMA. Most of it is GSM and LTE. Cambodia, I think, has one CDMA carrier. I think Thailand has one carrier who is CDMA. They've got 2 or 3 or 4 others that are just GSM. So GSM is pretty much what's used worldwide. USA and Verizon are one of the ones that have the CDMA technology, which means code division multiple access, if you're interested at all. I have no idea what that is. Back in the good old days, you got a big phone with a big battery with a big antenna. The best thing about that, in retrospect, is that when you went to dinner with somebody or went to visit somebody, you didn't have everybody sitting around looking at the screens on their smartphones instead of conversing. So maybe we need to return to that time. I don't think it will happen. I have found it difficult to get entirely up-to-date information in charts. This one in particular, it gives you an idea of some of the different bands and frequencies used across much of the world. Not all, but it's a little bit out of date because we also have the 2100 band being used in many areas now. And not so long ago, I read that there was a 600 megahertz band being auctioned off, so the lower frequencies supposedly go further. And then not only do you have the frequencies, but you have bands within those frequencies, so your phone needs to operate on the proper frequency, but also on the proper bands. And different phones will have a combination of different bands that they operate on. And the cheaper phones, you might get a phone with just 2 bands. Anybody traveling various countries, I highly recommend quad band phones where you have 4 different bands, 4 different frequencies that they'll operate on. And that should cover most of your situations. Here's a chart of the Philippine frequencies operated by Smart. Is one of 2 major carriers here in the Philippines. Smart owns Sun. you'll see Sun stores the frequencies that they operate on. And then Globe is the other major one here, and they own also, what do they call it? TM, which is, and Cherry Mobile. Cherry Mobile is one where they have some of their own stores also. They generally sell the cheaper plans, just like Sun, and many times in many areas you're down to 2G coverage or 3G coverage and less the 4G once you buy into the Globe system. Globe seems to have the better data overall throughout the Philippines. Sun is coming on. They're putting up more towers. And so it just depends on the area that you're in. I'll give you some information on another site you can go to get try to zero in on the area that you're planning on being in and try to find out what type of coverage you have there. This site had a lot of interesting information, including info about different bands in different countries around the world, called worldtimezone.com. Check that out. But at the top 4 columns is your frequencies. The green column is the 3G coverage and the companies. The important thing here is you can go there, you can find out which country is operating in that country, and then you can go to that company's website if you want additional information. This section of their chart shows the Philippines with the Globe and Smart, as well as Panama. Some of you might be interested in Panama, but anyway, you can scroll through that on the website, worldtimezone.com. The far right, the darker green, that's the 4G coverage. The lighter green is the 3G coverage. And then in those areas, it has a list of the companies that sell those programs, so you can contact them. This site is really interesting, www.opensignal.com. You can go to various maps around the world and find out what the signals are for the different carriers. The interesting thing here is that it's user-generated. You can download an app to your phone, and you can be part of the research. As you travel through the different areas, they will get the data from your phone about whether there's weak signal, no signal, that type of thing. So it's based on user actual experience. We'll tell you how many megabytes per second up and down, and pretty interesting anyway. Go to that site, and you can go to a map of the area that you want to go to and check it out. You will need a SIM card that's compatible with the carrier that you're planning on using. So if you need a Smart SIM card for Smart, Globe for Globe, and Sun for Sun, that type of thing. And there are different sizes, so you want to make sure that you get the proper size for the phone that you have that'll fit. The dual SIM phone that I just bought, my SIMs go in from the side. That's the first time I've had that happen. All my past phones, I've had to take the back cover off, and then the SIM slots are on the inside. And then you'll often find an expansion slot either on the side or inside, more commonly is what I've found also. And the last step is to buy load, which is credit for your prepaid plan. We're talking about prepaid plans versus postpaid, where you sign up, use your data, and then you're charged for it. Almost everything here is prepaid. And you can buy that at just a ton of different little stores, sorry stores, which are small convenience stores. You can go to the 7-Eleven. You can buy, they've got a little kiosk in there. You can punch in your phone number, and it'll spit out, or tell them how much you want. It'll spit out a little receipt. You take it to the counter, and they will put the load on. You can buy a little thing that looks like a credit card with different amounts of load, 100, 200, 3, 5, 1,000. Usually you buy two different types of load. You buy one for talk and text, And then if you want data on your phone also, you buy one for data. And that's what I do. I use data primarily. I spend 1,000 pesos each month for, it's not unlimited data. It's 800 megabytes per day of data. And then they cut your speed back. Instead of 4G, they cut you back to 3 or 2G, so it's slower. And then I buy 100 or 200 credits for talk and text. I don't do that much of that, but that gets me usually through a month or two. You can also buy load over the internet, I understand, and they will send it to your phone over the air. I've been told by an American who has bought it various different ways that you get a better deal, it lasts longer, if you buy your load on these little credit cards where you get a scratch off the back and get the number, then you use your phone to punch the different numbers in. And I've been told that he gets much more time on something like that. Instead of only a month to use that amount before it expires, he'll get 3 months or 4 months. And anyway, I don't know if that's fact or fiction. That's what he did last time. He read the fine print on the back of the card. He said it gave him much more time to use that, because what happens is that your time does expire even if you don't use it. If you buy 200 pesos worth of load, and for instance, text usually costs about 1 peso per text. Let's say you buy 200, you only use 50 texts in the month. You lose the 150 other pesos worth of load. So if you buy a card entered in, you're going to be here for a few months. It's a better deal for you all the way around. You can also send load to other people, and there's a way to do it with the different carriers. And I can't tell you the process. I've done it a couple times, but I don't remember the process. You punch in a number, you punch in their number, and how much you want to send them. Of course, you have to have that amount on your phone to do that. Also, you can send it online to their phone through each of the different carriers' systems. A couple more thoughts about cell phones in the Philippines in particular. Each carrier runs different types of promos, and it's interesting. They'll run 1 day, 3 day, 7 day, 15 day, or month promos, and it's interesting. Many Filipinos will buy into a 1 day or 3 day promo, even though it ends up costing them much more than if they would buy a monthly promo. And I've asked a number of people about that, and they do the same thing with food. They buy enough food for today. They worry about tomorrow. And the people have told me, yes, that's we don't worry about tomorrow. We worry about today, just today. Tomorrow will take care of itself. And even though they have to pay more, and they tell me, yes, we realize we're paying more, but today we have money for this. We don't have money for the month. We'll worry about tomorrow. So it's a strange part of the culture here, but that's the way they do it. And I get these promos sent to my phone all the time, and I've gone through and added them up, and it's just crazy what it would cost. For instance, my 1,000 a month data plan would probably cost me $1,300 or $1,400 if I would buy the shorter, the 3 day specials. I know one girl, she'll buy 3 days worth of data, and then she'll crash watching her different programs that she does over the internet, and then she won't buy any data for maybe a week, and then she'll go and buy her 3 days worth again. So that's part of the program. They just they ration it out, I guess. So that is a little bit about cell phones and cell phones in the Philippines, the plans and options. I hope that helped some of you a little bit. Every country is a little bit different there again. Your your different types of phones will work in some countries where they won't work in others. So do your due diligence and find out what the details are. Keep in mind that things are changing. Countries are starting to test the 5G speeds, and I know that as we were going from 3G to 4G, one of my questions was, is my phone going to be compatible with 4G when it come out? And I was told that yes, it's a software upgrade that they will do to the phone. So if you buy a really cheap phone, I have my doubts whether those cheaper phones will be upgraded over time as the new standards come out. They will still operate on the slower standards, which 4G right now is actually quite acceptable in many cases where it truly is 4G. But keep that in mind as you're looking at phones. As things progress and evolve, you want a phone that will be upgradable instead of having to go out and buy another phone. So thank you for coming along. Please like, share, and we'll see you next time.